And thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. scheduling Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. And today is Thursday, but not just any Thursday. It is the first Thursday of every month. We have with us Rebecca Boova, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com. And as always, we are delighted to have Becca with us. So she will be here today to enhance our health and wellness. And before we bring Becca live with us, Becca, are you with us?
I'm here.
Excellent. Well, I am just going to say to all of our listeners and viewers, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, 3D, as always, is brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And as I announced, with us, our monthly contributor, Rebecca Boova, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, who is here with us. And I am excited to have Becca with us. Becca, I am going to just pause long enough to say, as always, we are delighted to have you with us every first Thursday of the month. And I'm going to turn the broadcast over to Becca to discuss a topic that is really exciting. Becca, would you share with our listeners and viewers what you would like to discuss with us today to enhance our health and wellness?
All right. So today I want to talk to you guys all about the power of a plant-based diet. So a plant-based diet, I've probably mentioned it before in our past sessions, or plant-based foods, plant-based proteins. But today I really want to focus in on what a plant-based diet is, the benefits of it, and how you can incorporate it into your life. So first, I just want to shout out some benefits of following a plant-based diet, or even just incorporating more plant-based meals, because there's a lot of them. So first, it can lower your blood pressure, it can promote heart health, it may help prevent type 2 diabetes, it can also promote weight loss, longevity, reduce your risk of cancer, improve your cholesterol levels, minimize stroke risk, and it can also keep your brain strong. So it's got a whole lot of benefits, not only for preventing diseases, helping you live a longer, healthier life, and also helping to correct any labs or vitals that might be a little bit off if you have ever been told that before. So just to go into a little bit more detail about each of those points. So first I'll kind of focus on the heart health benefits, lowering blood pressure, lowering cholesterol levels. So the reason that we have these benefits from the plant-based diet, or even just more plant-based meals in your life, is because these foods tend to be a lot lower in saturated fat, high in fiber, high in vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, antioxidants. So all of these things naturally tend to help lower cholesterol levels, help lower our blood pressure. It's also, these foods are going to be a lot lower in sodium, so we get the benefit of the blood pressure from that. So there's a whole lot of different factors that go into it and why it's so good for your heart health. But, we'll get into a little bit more detail about all those things later. So it can also help prevent type 2 diabetes. And this is because it's so rich in fiberful foods. So beans, whole grains, vegetables, less saturated fat, all of these things, which can also help prevent type 2 diabetes. And then as well, it can help promote weight loss. So these foods tend to be more filling, lower calories, lower in all those bad things I mentioned, rich in all the good things I mentioned. So as a result, it can lead to weight loss, just because you're going to be cutting back on so many calories feeling more fulfilled and satisfied from the meals that you do have, which leads to weight loss and, in turn, prevention of type 2 diabetes. A few other benefits I mentioned were reducing risk of cancer, stroke, promoting brain health, and that's another reason for that is just because it does focus more on healthy fats, less on the unhealthy fats. It's got lots of those vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and antioxidants that help reduce cancer risk, promote longevity, and are really good for your brain as well. So there was actually a study that was published in 2017 by the Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience, and they found that adding 100 grams of fruits and vegetables per day led to a 13% reduction in your risk of cognitive impairment and dementia. And then also just having fruits, veggies, whole grains that are rich in those polyphenols can help slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease and even reverse cognitive decline. Like, that is amazing.
That is amazing.
Just by having a diet rich in all these things, you can actually reverse the damage that's been caused by some of these diseases. And I just think that's amazing.
That is, you're absolutely correct. That is amazing. And please go on, because as you're sharing this with us, I'm sitting here in a bit of shock myself, but that is absolutely amazing, because we all have to be conscious about our cognitive decline, and we want to make certain that we do whatever is necessary to keep us, mentally sharp.
Absolutely. Because, we talk about longevity and living longer, but nobody wants to live longer if they're going to live with these impairments, whether it be cognitive impairments or dementia or physical impairments. So maybe you're not able to get around as well. We want to live a long, healthy life, right?
Absolutely.
And this is the type of diet that's going to help with all those different factors. It's going to promote your wellness, your health, good brain health, good, cognitive function. So, it really is just a great way to check all the boxes for your health and wellness and living a long life. So then, and before I go on any further, any questions so far, Pastor Pope?
Well, so, Becca, it's very interesting that you brought this up, because I think we often think about heart health. We often think about, the health concerns that are prevalent throughout our, the community, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, things to that effect. But we don't often think about our cognitive health and preventive cognitive health. So this is absolutely, well, you said amazing, I agree with you, but it's also stunning to hear that by, really looking at the possibilities of a plant-based diet, we can improve our cognitive health. And so I just want to let you continue so that we can hear more.
Yeah, definitely. So I talk about plant-based diet, and a lot of you are probably thinking, I can't go vegan, I can't go from eating meat to not eating meat at all. But there's a lot of different variations that I want to just talk about real quickly. So, there's traditional vegetarian where they don't eat meat, like chicken, pork, or beef, but they may still eat cheese, eggs, milk, or even fish. But it is primarily a plant-based diet. So you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of plant-based proteins, which I'll tell you guys all about later what those might be. So that is vegetarian. And then there's also vegan. So vegans do not eat any products from an animal, produced by an animal. So that includes all those dairy products like meat, cheese, and even things like honey that come from bees. So that honey is also something that's not vegan. So vegans really are very restricted. It's very, very plant-based. It's all about fruits, vegetables, beans, things like that. It's all plants.
So,
Becca,
if I may interrupt for one moment, just because I didn't, this was a topic that I think was above all of our radar. So this is excellent for us.
I'm so glad.
The only question that I did have from one of our listeners and viewers, and all, was to explain the difference between plant-based diet and a vegan diet, because you've covered a lot of this not this topic today, but because you always have a different topic every month. Let me just first of all say that to all of our new listeners and viewers. You've been missing out, and we're glad you're with us. Thank you for being with us. But Becca covers a plethora of topics, and she finds a topic every month to discuss with us. But one question we did have was, what is the difference between a plant-based diet and a vegan diet? And so you're sharing some of that. Can you delve into that just a little further for us?
Sure, of course, yeah. So every single one of these diet patterns that I've mentioned so far, and a couple others I'll talk about too, they are mainly plant-based, but typically include some more or less animal products. So like the vegan doesn't have any animal products, well, it's strictly plant-based. But a vegetarian diet is a little bit of a combination of some products that are derived from animals, so eggs, cheese, milk, fish, but also mainly plant-based. So really a vegan and a plant-based diet, those are kind of interchangeable terms. A vegan diet is fully plant-based. Vegetarian is like a little bit of a combo between plant-based and then some animal products. And then same with pescatarian, that's pretty similar to the vegetarian, but it's just mainly fish and plant-based products, but no other animal products. And then the last one that I wanted to mention is probably what most people are going to find the most interesting. It's called a flexitarian diet. So this is a combination of having some plant-based meals, some meals that include meat, maybe some vegetarian meals, some pescatarian meals. So it really is just a combination of everything. So it's not, labeling yourself as, oh, I am a vegan and I do not eat any meat. It gives you a lot of flexibility, and that's why it's called the flexitarian diet. So this is what I really think we should all strive to do. It's great because, you get the benefits of the animal products because there are a lot of benefits of having those in your diet, but you're also getting the benefits of a plant-based diet and cutting back on some of those harmful things that are more found in animal products. So that's a great way to kind of ease yourself into a plant-based diet. I think that even just doing one plant-based meal a week could be a great starting place for a whole lot of people. So maybe you've never had a plant-based meal before, you're not really sure, commit to having one plant-based meal a week.
So
and to do that,
Becca,
yes,
may I just interrupt long enough to say to all of our listeners and viewers, that's one of the many things that I have learned from Becca, is that all dietary and nutritional practices do not have to be restrictive daily. So one of the things, I never thought about this before, and I know I'm interrupting Becca because I really want you to give more of this information, but one of the things that I learned from, one of the many things I've learned from you is that I don't have to be a vegetarian every day. I don't have to be a vegan every day, and I don't have to be a carnivore every day. I can, and so you announced today a flexitarian diet? Yes. So, I'll share with our listening audience, and Becca, you'll be real proud of me, I'll use that term, is that I had a plant-based diet meal on Tuesday of this week. And
way to go, I'm so proud.
No meat, and Becca knows me, and we've known each other a very long time, so I love meat, and I have been using that some days, just not having meat in my diet because of Becca sharing with us that it's good for us to be able to break it up without restricting ourselves on a daily basis. So I wanted to share that with our listeners and viewers because I think that flexitarian diet is really important for people who, like myself, who love meat, but we don't have to be a vegetarian every day or a vegan every day or be on a plant-based diet every day. We could alternate one day per week in all of these types of diet practices. Does that make sense, Becca?
I love that. I'm so glad you shared that. And that just goes to show it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You don't have to be entirely plant-based. You don't have to be entirely a carnivore on the other side of things. There's a middle ground here. We can do a combination. You can do, whether it be one meal a week or, committing to having all of your lunches be plant-based or even going fully plant-based. Whatever works for you. The importance is that we just are, a little bit more flexible and allow ourselves to try these foods because there are so many health benefits to them.
And I have to confess, I am an all or nothing guy. I've been that way for a very long time in my life. But this is what Becca is doing for us all. And I just want to interrupt you again to give you give you a shout out. This is what Becca's doing for us every single month, enhancing our health and wellness by giving us choices, alternatives that we can use to enhance our health and wellness. So Becca, I want to thank you for continuing to provide us with such good information. And I just want to take one moment before we go even further and Becca delves into this, just to do a little business for our sponsor. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. And I want to say to our listeners and viewers, we were Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and RadioFreeNetwork.com live, although yesterday, again, Facebook we were off Facebook yesterday because of these outages that they're having. But I have received a text from someone indicating that we are live on Facebook today. Also, we were on YouTube yesterday. We are on YouTube today. YouTube has been consistent, and we are delighted because we didn't want to miss Rebecca Boova, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com. Go to her website. You can not only see every broadcast by clicking on her media that she has done for us. Go back and view them because there's a lot of great information that is going to enhance your health and wellness. And Becca also accepts insurance. Becca, would you share with our listeners and viewers what insurances you are currently taking before you go back into the topic for today?
Absolutely. So I accept all Blue Cross Blue Shield plans as long as they're a PPO. I am licensed in Pennsylvania, Delaware, Florida, and Mississippi. So if you have HMO plan under Blue Cross Blue Shield, I can also accept those plans. I accept Cigna, United Healthcare, Aetna, and I believe that is it.
Well, that is excellent. So congratulations, because I know we were waiting for Becca to receive her license here in Delaware also. And she's now licensed in Delaware. She's already been licensed in Pennsylvania. So those of you who are in Pennsylvania, you were able to use her already. But she's licensed in Delaware. She also said she's licensed in, help me out, Becca, Mississippi
and Florida.
And in Florida. So we want to make certain that everyone that can use BeccaTheDietitian.com will have the opportunity to use Becca for her services, because you're going to get so much information to improve our health and wellness. And all of us are getting our annual checkups, our annual visits with our primary care doctors. I'm saying that and speaking it into existence. If you haven't done that, let's make sure we do that before the end of the year. But Becca, would you continue in this topic today? This has been such an exciting topic, and I want to let you continue.
All right. So the last thing I do just want to touch quickly on is just how to incorporate these plant-based proteins and what the plant-based proteins are. So there's a few different types. We have beans, so like black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, edamame or soybeans. Lentils would be another example, so maybe green or red lentils, or even your lentil pastas that are available nowadays. So those count as a plant-based protein. Nuts and seeds, so a few examples of nuts would be almonds, walnuts, pecans, Brazil nuts, and then different seeds could include chia seeds, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, hemp seeds, and all the other seeds out there. So these are more of our like true plant-based, whole food kind of sources. I would also group quinoa in there as well. So quinoa is a whole grain that has a good amount of protein. So we'll group that with beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds. And then we have our other types of plant-based proteins that are slightly processed, but they're still a great minimally processed source of plant-based protein. So that would be things like tofu, tempeh, seitan, and then of course your vegan protein powders. So these are just a few types of plant-based proteins to incorporate into your diet, especially with the cooler months coming up. Maybe try a plant-based chili, where you use lots of different beans as your protein source. Keep it meat-free. You could do something like I mentioned before, the lentil pasta, so you could make that. And that's a great way to eat pasta just because it's higher in fiber. It's got your plant-based proteins in it. So I like to consider it a guilt-free way to eat pasta. Or you could use one of those slightly processed forms of protein. So the tofu, tempeh, or seitan. So these are really flexible. They're great in stir fries. They're great a whole bunch of different ways, really. There's so many recipes out there on the internet. So I encourage you all to look up these things, look in your grocery stores for them, and maybe consider trying Meatless Mondays once a week. See how it goes.
So it's once again interesting because, we've got to implement the information that we receive. So, I will tell you that in our household, we did Meatless Mondays for a whole year. Now, I've gone back to just changing things up because, Becca has shared information with us. So, as I said, I've really been able to one day maybe try a vegetarian diet. One day I will eat meat. One day I will eat a plant-based diet. But we're doing all of these things to enhance our health and wellness. So the great thing is that all the information Becca provides us is not restrictive. But I do want to say to all of our listeners and viewers that, first of all, Becca has explained to us the difference between plant-based and a vegan diet. So we have a clear understanding of that now. We've been told today what the benefits are of a plant-based diet. So if a plant-based diet and vegan diet, Becca, has the potential, like anything else, has the potential to be unhealthy if not implemented properly, what can we do to ensure that we're getting all of the proper nutritions if we're mixing things up, doing the flexitarian diet, or if we are choosing the plant-based or the vegan diet?
So one thing I do want to caution, if you're trying to increase your intake of plant-based foods, so there's a lot of frozen items out there, so like vegan or plant-based chicken nuggets, vegan burgers or plant-based burgers, things like that. So these types of foods, well, technically they are plant-based because they're made from plant-based sources and they don't contain animal sources in them. Those kind of things are highly processed, so they're still going to be high in salt, they're still going to be high in saturated fat, which are the things that we want to try and avoid, and that's one of the benefits of the plant-based diet, is that it has less of those things. So just be very careful with those and try and use more natural or minimally processed sources of those. So that's definitely one consideration. I'm not sure if that fully answered your question.
No, that's good. No, I just want to make sure, and that does answer the question, because I just want to make sure that everyone understands that anything we do has the potential to be unhealthy if it's not implemented properly, particularly whether it is, diet and exercise. So we want to make certain that we're getting all the nutrition, just as if, we're talking about exercise. We want to make certain that we check with our doctor to make sure we're doing things that are not, once again, that are not going to disrupt our health and wellness, but that are going to enhance our health and wellness. And so I'm going to once again put Becca on the spot because, Becca's the picture of health. So health and wellness, fitness, she's into it all. So Becca, would you once again share with our listeners and viewers what you do on a weekly basis because we can't all go and eat dinner at Becca and her husband's home. But if you can share with us what you're doing, because I can tell you they are the picture of health. And if you would share with our listeners and viewers what you're doing on a weekly basis to maintain your health. I can't even say enhance because I don't really know that you are at the enhancement level anymore. You're just at the maintenance level.
Oh, God. You're too kind. I'm not perfect. We definitely have our bad days, our bad weeks, just like anybody else.
Okay, but I am going to interrupt and say, not only do you teach this, but you live this. So please share with us.
We try our best. But on a weekly basis, what we try and do is we'll have some animal products meals, we'll have some vegan meals, some the more like pescatarian meals. So every week we definitely try and avoid red meat as much as possible, just because that is one of the meats that tends to be highest in saturated fat. But generally, we'll eat a little bit of chicken, a little bit of pork, a little fish. Of course, some plant-based meals. We love tofu, seitan. We love doing like grain salads. Lots of fruits and vegetables always. My husband doesn't always get enough of those, but I'm always harping on him to get veggies.
I resemble that remark. I think we were separated at birth, although he's a lot younger than I am.
But he does his best, and he's got me in his ear to remind him all the time.
Yes.
But just we try and avoid processed foods as much as possible, but we also don't overly restrict ourselves. We allow ourselves to have a little bit of, our favorite junk food. So popcorn is my weakness. I have popcorn almost every day. I always have something a little sweet every day, but I don't go overboard. I eat it in a reasonable portion size. That way I'm not restricting myself to the point where I'm going to go crazy someday whenever I really just want to eat it and eat too much. So it's more about portion control and allowing yourself to still eat those foods you enjoy. If there's certain foods you can't live without, that's fine. Just make other changes in your diet so you can work around those foods. That's really the most important thing.
So, we're all in this together. And I love what Becca said. She shared, I have to agree to disagree with her on this, but she is the picture of health. But she said, they're not perfect. They have cheat moments also. Because we're all in this together. We're all just trying to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. And we have Becca with us every first Thursday of the month, sharing information with us that is going to enhance our health and wellness. Now, Becca, you talked a lot about, you shared about nuts. And I would like to ask a personal question if our listeners and viewers will tolerate my going into a little personal endeavor. So I like cashews.
Okay.
Is that a good source of, I know it's a good source of protein, but would that be under the category of plant-based?
Yeah, so cashews are definitely plant-based. That's a nut, so it's going to be a whole food source. They are one of the nuts that has a little bit of saturated fat in it. So what I like to recommend is just doing a mix of nuts. So if you like cashews, make sure you get your cashews in there, but also mix it in with some almonds and some walnuts or pecans or pistachios. Kind of like a mix. That way you're getting some of the ones that you like, but you're also getting some of the nuts that have a little bit more of those omega-3 fats, unsaturated fats. So doing a mix is a way to go about it. Okay,
and I tend to get them with dark chocolate wrapped around them. So.
Like you got the antioxidants in the dark chocolate. That sounds good.
Yes, I eat a lot of dark chocolate. I have to say I do, and the reason I brought that up is because you can find something that you enjoy, and as Becca has proven over and over again, these are not restrictive diets, and that's really why I don't really use the term dieting when Becca's with us, because she doesn't put us on something that's going to restrict us. What she gives us is information that we can implement other food sources into our daily diet. And so, Becca, I have to say to you, thank you as always. You always provide us with such good information, and you have been an active part of my life and changing, although I know I might not always look like it, but just changing some of my habits. And so for all of our listeners and viewers, I want to encourage everyone, continue changing up your dietary habits. And Becca, one more time, would you share with our listeners and viewers? Remember, we have with us Rebecca Boova, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, and BeccaTheDietitian.com. And I want to make sure that you know all of the insurances that she takes so that you can check with your insurance provider. Becca, would you once again just run through all of the insurances that you take? And you are accepting new clients. I did check that. So you are accepting new clients also.
Accepting new clients. So as far as insurance goes, I accept Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, and United Healthcare. If you have a PPO plan, I can take people from all over the country. If you have an HMO plan, it would have to be within one of the states that I'm licensed in. So those are Pennsylvania, Delaware, Mississippi, and Florida.
So let's make certain that we do all that we can to enhance our health and wellness. And as always, today's 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. With us today, as always, the first